Imagine yourself at the end of your life, standing on a quiet hill at sunset, looking back over the path you traveled. What thoughts and feelings would fill your heart in that moment? Would you feel proud of every step you took towards the dreams you once whispered in the dark? Or would you feel the slow, heavy ache of those dreams left unfulfilled, the echo of a question, what if? Right now, you might be sitting in your car at a red light or huddled in your room with headphones on, carrying on with the familiar rhythms of life. The world around you buzzes with routine notifications pinging, tasks to complete, responsibilities to meet. But deep inside, beneath the noise, there may be a restless stir of longing or doubt. You sense that something more is possible, that somewhere within you lies a dream starved of your attention. Maybe you tell yourself, I'm young, I've got time, or I'll get there someday. That's what we all say, until suddenly someday turns into never. Tonight, let us speak the truth that often remains silent. The cost of not following your dreams is regret. In the dim light of our greatest fears, many of us shrink back. We tuck our desires behind careful words and safe excuses. We tell ourselves, maybe tomorrow, while time quietly marches on. But every maybe tomorrow holds the power to become a final goodbye to what could have been. Now close your eyes and see yourself without fear, without apology. Feel the relief, even for a moment. The power to change your story is in this breath, in this very heartbeat. This is not a message of blind optimism or shallow slogans. It is a challenge and a comfort. Deep inside you, there is a spark waiting to ignite. You might feel it now as a faint glimmer, or maybe you have forgotten it amid the noise of everyday life. Either way it remains, it is your authentic self calling you to remember what you truly want, what sets your soul on fire. We come from a world that often praises playing it safe. Society, family, even our own minds sometimes lure us into the comfort of the well-trodden path. We look around and see others applauding stability and responsibilities perfectly met. But if you listen closely to your heart, it speaks in a different tongue, the language of possibility, of the life you were meant to live. Consider this. A hospice nurse named Bronnie spent years listening to the last words of dying people. Among their whispered regrets, one truth rose again and again. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. This confession is neither rare nor unnatural. It is the echo of countless hearts worldwide. It reminds us that dreams and authenticity are more valuable than society's shallow measures of success. Studies back this up. The majority of people report that their deepest regrets involve not pursuing their long-held aspirations. Psychologists report that most people regret the chances they never took far more than the mistakes they made. An unlived life leaves deeper scars than a life lived with purpose, even with falters. We often think we have time, but time, like a river, flows and never turns back. Every tick of the clock carries us farther from the person we were yesterday and closer to the person we will be tomorrow. What will you do with the hours, days, and years you have? Will you watch them drift by, or will you steer the current of your life? Think of someone you admire, someone who is living their dream or at peace with themselves. Chances are they will tell you that it wasn't luck or ease that got them there, but small moments of courage, moments when fear knocked and they opened the door anyway. These moments are available to you too. The only difference is willingness to answer. Perhaps there's a dream you've kept buried, a hidden melody or unwritten book inside. It's common to feel its presence, but keep it locked away safe. Maybe you fear failure or pain or the judgment of others. But what if you fail? What if you succeed? The only way to know is to try, and what if you never try? Imagine the weight of turning to yourself decades from now and seeing only the shadow of a life half lived. Even the bravest warrior fears regrets more than defeat. Remember those dreams as a child? The fearless child who believed in magic and believed that nothing was impossible. Life might have taught you caution, but that child is still within you, waiting for you to give them a chance. Mindfulness tells us that we carry our whole life within the present moment. So in this very moment, listen to that inner child. They are whispering, remember me? Let's dance, let's create, let's try. We often think we have time, but think of a river that pauses. Still waters stagnate. Time will not stop for you, and tomorrow is never guaranteed. If you listen carefully, you might hear the whisper of your own potential. As ancient as fire in your bones, it's calling you to action before the flame dwindles to ash. Because when the years slip by, the only thing louder than success is the silence of missed chances. Ask yourself, what if? Would it not be infinitely better to say, I gave it a shot, than to live in the eternal regret of never having tried? The one regret far more burdensome than failure is the regret of never having truly begun. And so we commit now to face those fears, to honor the spark within us. Tonight, on this journey together, let us challenge the fears that hide our light. Let us explore what it means to live fully alive, guided by mindfulness and purpose, informed by science and history. And let us remember, to live a life without following our dreams is to invite regret as a constant companion. But to face our fears and step into our potential can light a torch so bright it banishes that darkness forever. Everything springs from the soil of the mind. Mindset shapes everything. It's the lens through which you see your journey. Childhood teaches us unconsciously. Repeated praise or criticism carves deep grooves in who we think we are. You may have heard stories of children born into poverty who grow up rich and wealthy kids who never make it. The key difference is often mindset. We often say mindset and belief, but mindset truly is the soil. If your inner soil is filled with weeds of doubt, fear, and self-criticism, then even the most ambitious seed of a dream will struggle to grow. Yet if you tend that garden with positivity, curiosity, and courage, your dreams can take root and flourish under your care. In ancient Eastern thought, they say the mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of fear, judgment, and envy, those weeds will choke the life out of your dreams. If you plant seeds of faith, learning, and kindness, you'll see a garden thrive. Every day, your thoughts water those seeds. Practicing mindfulness helps you notice which seeds you're watering. Modern science echoes what Eastern wisdom has long taught. Our thoughts shape our reality. In Buddhism, the mind is everything what we think we become. In psychology, this is called a growth mindset, the understanding that abilities and potential are not fixed, but can be nurtured. Your brain is not a static vessel. It is a living, malleable organ built by every choice and every thought. We have a bias for the negative. We are wired to notice threats. Evolution made us look for the tiger in the grass, but today this means we spot failure faster than success. Neuroscientists have shown that a single negative experience can outweigh dozens of positives in the brain. But here's the good part. You can retrain that brain. Each time you challenge a negative thought or practice gratitude, you strengthen new pathways that focus on possibility. Consider the neurons in your brain like grooves in a riverbed. If you keep sending water down one groove, it deepens. The same thought repeated literally carves pathways in your brain. If your mind constantly rehearses defeat, I can't do it, I'm not talented enough, it's too late for me, you are digging a bed for despair. But if you consciously decide to believe in possibility, you start carving a new river of hope and opportunity. Over time, that river becomes the path you naturally walk. Imagine two colleagues receiving criticism on a project. One panics, seeing it as evidence of failure. The other sees it as data for improvement. Which one do you think learns faster and eventually excels? The difference is mindset. One believes abilities are fixed and feels shattered. The other believes abilities can grow and feels determined. Carol Dweck's growth mindset research shows time and again that those who believe they can improve tend to improve. In this light, mindset is both shield and sword. It shields you from the poison of negativity and scorn. It swords away the excuses that cut you off from your dreams. If the weight of self-doubt sits heavy on your shoulders, it isn't some permanent stone etched in fate. It's something you can unshackle from one thought at a time. By practicing mindfulness or simply pausing to notice your inner voice, you can interrupt the toxic stories your mind tells you. You can rewrite them. Imagine two young graduates with similar backgrounds and skills. One says, "No one will hire me, I'm not good enough," and doesn't apply for that dream job. The other thinks, "I may not know everything yet, but I will learn," and sends in an application anyway. The latter is acting with a growth mindset. The first closes doors with doubt, while the second opens doors with belief. This isn't empty pep talk. It's hard science and ancient truth aligned. Research shows that our default thinking patterns can be changed with deliberate effort. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity, and Eastern masters have been calling it inner transformation. When you realize this, you recognize the first truth. Your mindset is not destiny. It is the first tool in your hands. Mindset shapes how you face the world. Belief isn't blind faith either. It's a deep inner knowing that arises from self-knowledge and evidence. Belief often lights the fire in otherwise impossible tasks. It is where faith meets action. If you draw a circle of people who believe in you, they can lift you higher than 1,000 who doubt you. When Edison was discouraged by others, he replied that many of them couldn't even stand the heat of trying. He demonstrated a belief not in himself alone, but in the very existence of an idea. When doubt comes from others, use it as wind under your wings instead of a wall. Look at giants of history. Thomas Edison believed in the possibility of electric light long before it was commonplace. He faced thousands of failures, yet he held an unwavering belief that there had to be a solution. Walt Disney believed in the power of imagination when editors and critics told him he lacked it. Carnegie believed in the American dream even as a poor immigrant sweated in a cotton mill. Each of them had belief as their compass when everything else was fog. Think of how often in your own life you've doubted yourself based on what others said. Maybe a teacher said you couldn't write, a coach said you'd never make the team, a boss said to stick to the routine, but those opinions live outside you. Your own belief is the story you tell yourself in private, the one that will echo in the silence of your mind. Recognize that the universe will often meet you where you believe yourself to be. If you walk into a room saying, "I don't belong here," you will feel it. Walk in saying, "I have something to contribute," and you will shift the energy. Our beliefs form our personal truth. In science, this is called a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe success is possible, your brain works to make it so. If you believe the world is watching, judging every step, your fears grow bigger than they should. If you believe in your worth, then setbacks become lessons instead of verdicts. Belief colors the world in vibrant tones or dull shades. Choose to believe in possibility, and the canvas of your life becomes bright with potential. Modern psychology even has a term, the Pygmalion effect, where higher expectations lead to higher performance. If you expect great things, your brain prepares for them. If you believe you are capable, you act capable, practice skills more diligently, and open doors to opportunity. Every scientific experiment has an element of belief, faith, that the result is worth pursuing. When scientists sat at empty labs in the 19th century, they believed electricity could run wires across cities. Edison believed it, and he proved it, but first he had to hold that belief firmly. Remember, belief is not naivete. It can be tempered by reason. A smart belief is not wishful thinking, but a decision. I may not see the path, but I trust that if I take a step, it will appear or I will create it. As soon as you start acting on that belief, small signs begin to emerge, helpful strangers, just-in-time ideas, doors opening where walls stood. Your brain notices these signs because it was tuned in by your belief. Our brain is a prediction machine. If you constantly signal it with belief, it begins to look for pathways to realize it. Science also tells us something comforting. Other people are less attentive to our actions than we think. Most of our fears about judgment or failure are magnified by our own mind. Psychologists have found that people are usually so wrapped up in their own lives that they scarcely notice ours. Knowing this, you can let go of imagined spectators and focus on your own applause, the one that comes from within when you try. Never underestimate that inner voice. Every yes, I can that you think is carving a brighter future, every no, I can't is a self-imposed obstacle. Believe in the possibility of your dream and watch the world begin to catch up. If mindset is the soil, then belief is the water. Belief is what gives nourishment to the seeds of possibility. It is the quiet conviction in your soul that the dream you feel is worth chasing. Without belief, a dream is just a wish floating in empty air. Your belief can turn empty air into solid ground. Belief is what you truly feel inside. It often starts as a gut feeling or a quiet insistence. Sometimes you won't even be sure why you believe in something, you'll just know that you do. That inner knowing can be stronger than all external evidence. Like a parent's unconditional love, belief in yourself can remain steadfast even when logic says otherwise. Imagine two roads. On one you walk carrying a burden called doubt, on the other a torch called belief. Which will allow you to see further at night? Both roads have bumps, but the torch makes them manageable. The doubts only make them seem larger. So hold on to belief. Let it be the fuel that feeds your mindset's fertile ground. Nurtured by belief, ambition can sprout roots of confidence and branches of action. Without belief, even the clearest vision can wither at the first sign of storm. With belief, you can navigate through any storm. If your purpose is to inspire others, then every setback you overcome is a story you will one day tell. If your purpose is to create beauty or solve problems, then each moment of discipline is a step towards that impact. When your purpose is clear, life itself becomes an adventure instead of a chore. Having your mountain in view, you need a reason to climb it. If vision is the mountain, purpose is the reason you choose to climb it. Purpose is the deep why that gives meaning to every struggle, every early morning and late night. It's the heart of Eastern traditions and the discoveries of modern psychology alike. Purpose is both a guiding star and an energizer. It helps you to endure the grind because you know it serves something greater than yourself. It's the anchor that keeps you steady when waves of doubt crash in. It doesn't remove storms, but it prevents you from drifting aimlessly. A study from psychologists shows that people with a strong sense of purpose recover more quickly from setbacks and lead happier lives. People who live with a sense of purpose have lower stress hormones, healthier hearts, stronger immune systems, and even live longer. Purpose will ask things of you. It will demand your time and discipline. But remember, effort aligned with purpose is rarely wasted. It composes a life that feels worthy when you look back. Without purpose, success can feel hollow. With purpose, even small achievements feed your soul. Your purpose might be hidden in plain sight. By trying new paths, volunteering, mentoring, meditating, or journaling, you can clear the fog and see what resonates. Purpose can be discovered, not just decided. If you started out following someone else's path or collected others' dreams, that's okay. It just means you're learning, you're evolving. Purpose can call to you quietly or with thunder. Give it attention when it does. Even if you feel adrift now, remember, some people discover their true purpose later in life. Grandma Moses began painting at 78. Your story isn't finished until you say it is. Your purpose is the compass that makes you brave. Discipline is the quiet heartbeat of achievement. It is the daily practice that turns dreams into muscles. Eastern teachings often call it sadhana or tapasya, the discipline of self-effort. In modern terms, it's willpower and habit rolled into one powerful force. Knowing why you climb gives you energy, but to keep going, you'll need discipline, the quiet heartbeat of achievement. Discipline looks boring from the outside, but it feels empowering from the inside. Waking up early to write that chapter, refining a skill when no one is watching, pushing through fatigue because you remember your purpose, all these are acts of discipline. They don't always come with applause in the moment, but they are building your future. Each repetition is an investment deposit into your dream. Discipline transforms a dream into a habit and a habit into reality. It is often misunderstood as rigidity, but true discipline is gentle persistence. Think of it as a commitment to yourself, a promise kept day after day. Picture a musician practicing scales before composing a masterpiece, or a runner training in the cold before winning a marathon. It may look like small, insignificant actions on any given day, but they are like single bricks. One by one, they build a fortress of capability. Without those bricks, even a grand vision has no foundation. Discipline also means sacrifice. You may need to forgo a night out for an extra hour of practice. You may need to resist that Netflix binge to write that proposal. Every time you choose your dream's path over the easy path, you reinforce your self-respect. In fact, psychological research shows that people who take tiny steps toward a goal build confidence, triggering motivation to keep going. This is the idea behind the progress principle. Any small win gives a rush of positive energy. So do something small today. Write one sentence, sketch a rough outline, email a potential mentor. Watch how that single action enlarges your belief in what's possible. Neuroscience tells us that habits change our brain. Every time you repeat a beneficial action, you strengthen neural pathways that make the action easier. This is why discipline can lead to automation. What felt impossible becomes second nature. Each goal achieved, no matter how small, reminds your brain that action leads to achievement and belief in yourself grows. Let discipline be a friend, not a tyrant. The rigidity you need is about consistency, not about punishing yourself. If you miss a day, the path is still there. Dust off and begin again. Discipline is about patience and persistence. One more rep, one more paragraph, one more breath of effort. It's saying, I promise to myself, and then simply showing up to keep that promise day after day. Take that first step. Even if it's a shuffle, you'll find momentum in motion. The universe respects action. It turns up the volume on opportunities when you begin to listen with movement. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality. All of the mindset, belief, clarity, purpose, and discipline in the world will stay on paper unless you move. Eastern wisdom teaches that the path is made by walking. Each step creates the next step. Imagine a young artist staring at a blank canvas, paralyzed by self-doubt. The trick isn't to remove the fear, it's to act despite it. The first splash of paint is always the scariest, but once it's down, momentum builds. Similarly, starting anything new feels intimidating, but the brain rewards you with dopamine when you take even a tiny step forward. It lights up the reward centers in your mind, proving to yourself that progress is possible. Action means saying, I will try. It can be baby steps, a single sentence written, one cold email sent, one practice session done. Remember, motion creates emotion. As you do, feelings of joy or confidence start to surface, encouraging you to take more steps. When you act, you learn about your dream, about yourself, about what needs to be done next. Don't wait for inspiration or for all conditions to align. Those conditions may never be perfect. The universe often responds to action. You send out a ripple, and suddenly waves start to form. Begin now, even imperfectly, and you'll find the current carries you forward. In all this striving, remember gratitude. Gratitude grounds you in the present. It may seem paradoxical to speak of gratitude while urging you forward, but gratitude is fuel, not a brake. When we acknowledge what we have, the people who love us, the health we often take for granted, the moments that brought us joy, we gain strength and perspective. Eastern sages often say that contentment is the secret of life, but they don't mean stagnation. They mean appreciating the journey as you keep moving. When your spirit is focused on what's good, negative what-ifs start to fade. Modern science shows gratitude changes our brain chemistry. Gratitude practices like journaling or simply saying thank you stimulate dopamine and serotonin, the same chemicals that motivate us to keep going. People who regularly practice gratitude have lower stress and more resilience in tough times. When you pause to be thankful, you build an inner sense of richness that no setback can steal. Being grateful doesn't mean ignoring your dreams or settling for less. It means seeing the bridge behind you you've already built and using it to jump to the next height. Think of gratitude as the warm sun at your back on a cold morning hike. It doesn't stop the journey, but it gives you energy and hope. You remember, look how far I've come. That memory fuels you to climb further. Gratitude also nurtures relationships. When you share appreciation for those who support you, they lift you up even higher. The more grateful you are, the more love and help the universe seems to send your way. It becomes a virtuous cycle. Gratitude begets generosity, resilience, and even creativity. Let gratitude be your steady companion. Keep a journal of victories and blessings, no matter how small. Over time, you'll see that your life is much richer than your doubts told you. And that confidence will make you bolder on your journey. By cultivating gratitude, you honor the life you have even while you reach for what's next. This balance is powerful. It keeps you humble and hungry, content and ambitious. In the end, no dream is fulfilled in isolation, and no victory is sweet without moments of thankfulness for how you got there. With gratitude nourishing your spirit, embrace change. Adaptability is the art of staying alive in a changing world. It's the river bending around rocks, not the rigid trunk that snaps in the storm. Eastern philosophers liken success to water. It takes the shape of its container, always moving, always adjusting. Flexibility prepares you for change. Resilience prepares you for hardship. Imagine an artist who planned every brushstroke but found her paint splattering unexpectedly. Does she stop? No, she learns to incorporate the splatter into her masterpiece. Such is adaptability, an openness to shape your journey when the winds change. When the world changes course, be it economic upheaval, personal loss, or a sudden opportunity, adaptability is what allows you to pivot instead of crash. It's like jazz improvisation. You have a core melody, your vision, but you improvise notes as life plays its tune. Each twist becomes part of the song instead of a catastrophe. Historical visionaries adapted relentlessly. When trains were revolutionized, Andrew Carnegie didn't cling to telegraphs. He went where the future was headed. When early computers came, thinkers like Ada Lovelace and Alan Turing saw how algorithms could create new realities. Tesla shifted from selling cars to building an entire renewable energy vision as the world's needs changed. Even nature models this. Charles Darwin noted that creatures survive when they can adapt. Those who cannot fade away. Adapting doesn't mean abandoning your dreams, it means rerouting them wisely. Consider how often in history unexpected events force change. World wars, plagues, economic crashes. These never stop the dreamers, they make them smarter. Take a moment to consider your own life. If a door unexpectedly closed, it might be God or the universe gently steering you elsewhere. Once a setback might have felt like an end. Now let it feel like a pivot point towards something even better. Be attuned to feedback. If one approach fails, it's data, not defeat. Use that data to refine your method. Psychologists call adaptability a key component of resilience. Each time you adapt to new information, your confidence grows. Even if a particular dream doesn't pan out as planned, an adaptable person learns and redirects. Every setback becomes a pathway to something unexpected. The bamboo doesn't curse the storm for bending it. Instead, it thrives when others shatter. Adaptability also means lifelong learning. It might involve acquiring a new skill, exploring a different angle of the problem, or entirely changing direction if a door closes. In modern careers, adaptability is crucial. Many people change jobs or fields multiple times. You might start learning coding today, or a new language, or how to communicate your vision. With adaptability, you keep evolving, staying ahead of the curve instead of being left behind it. Adaptability is about humility and courage working together. It takes humility to admit, maybe there's a better way I hadn't considered, and courage to take a different step once you see it. By cultivating adaptability, you ensure that no matter how the landscape shifts, you can still find sunlight and grow. Your dreams may not look exactly as you first imagined, but they can still bloom beautifully if you adjust your stance with grace. Flexibility prepares you for change. Resilience prepares you for hardship. Resilience is the phoenix rising from ashes. It's how you stand tall after being knocked down, stronger for it. In the words of a wise poet, if you are burned, you will do two things: recite the pain in a poem or let a flower grow in you. Resilience chooses growth. Every hero in history faced 1,000 defeats before success. Abraham Lincoln lost multiple elections before he became president. When people questioned him after failures, he simply answered that he had not lost yet. He was just laying the groundwork for a future victory. J.K. Rowling faced rejection after rejection from publishers, but she kept writing, believing in her story of a young wizard. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team, but he used that moment to practice harder. Each setback became fuel. Resilience is rooted in perspective. Eastern philosophy teaches that suffering is part of life, not a punishment. If you view hardship as a challenge to overcome rather than a dead end, you unlock strength. In neuroscience, researchers find that after a crisis, people who reflect and learn from it often emerge more adaptive and confident. This is why soldiers or athletes who go through trials often say those experiences taught them more than victory ever could. Building resilience means building support too. One Stoic philosopher said that when we accept fate lovingly, we are courageous. This doesn't mean facing pain without feeling. It means feeling deeply and then choosing to continue on. Allow your loved ones, mentors, or your own higher self to lift you when you can't stand. Sometimes resilience is simply making it through one more day, but even that is extraordinary. Life will keep testing you. You might lose money, a job, a loved one, or your self-belief. But remember, resilience is contagious. When you weather the storm, you become the anchor for others. Each time you bounce back, you rewrite your inner script. You learn that failure is not your identity. It's just one chapter that leads to the next chapter of growth. Resilience is the phoenix rising again and again. Be elastic. When you stretch through pain, you gain the ability to rebound ever higher. Each time you stand up after falling, you're literally strengthening the tendons of your soul. Let that strength carry you higher the next time. Each time you rise from a fall, carry the lesson with you. Learning is the compass that keeps you heading north, even in darkness. Each mistake carries a lesson. Each failure contains a seed of knowledge. When you view life as a school and experiences as lessons, even the harshest trials become teachers. Consider the greatest minds of history. Scientists like Marie Curie didn't stop at a Nobel Prize. They kept observing, experimenting, and discovering. Every failure in her lab taught her something new about the elements. Each sacrifice became insight. Authors like Maya Angelou wrote hundreds of pages of rejection before finally finding a publisher, but each piece she wrote honed her voice. Psychology shows that our brains are wired to learn. Neuroplasticity is highest when we are curious and when we push our boundaries. When you learn, your brain actually grows new connections. Eastern wisdom speaks of the beginner's mind, an open attitude as if you know nothing, ready to absorb every moment. Cultivate that attitude. Read widely, listen deeply, embrace discomfort as the price of knowledge. Each day you ask questions and seek answers, you reduce future regret. For example, interviewing a mentor or taking a class might illuminate a whole new path you hadn't considered. Every small insight can compound into major shifts. It is said that the wisest people know how little they truly know. Learning is humbling. It means admitting you don't have all the answers. But that admission is not weakness. It's the cornerstone of growth. As your dreams evolve, your understanding evolves too. The more you know about your craft, the more you can innovate within it. Don't be afraid to take imperfect steps to learn. The scientist's trial and error approach is far more meaningful than standing still to ensure success before even starting. In a rapidly changing world, learning keeps you adaptable and resilient. Take technology, new tools emerge each year. If you cling to old methods, you get left behind. But if you keep learning, you ride the wave. What you learn today may teach you to build a better tomorrow for your dreams. So be hungry for knowledge, ask questions, challenge assumptions. As you learn more about the world and yourself, you refine your dreams in the pursuit of your purpose. Every book read, mentor sought, experiment done is another victory, another step forward. And if at the end you ask, what did I learn from this journey? You will have enriched your soul beyond measure. Knowledge and experience will shape you, but one emotion can amplify everything. Love. Love is the glue that holds passion together. If you do not love what you do, burnout will come. If you do not love yourself, doubt will creep in. If you do not love others, the journey will feel lonely. Love in all its forms, love of life, love of work, love of others is a powerful energy. We often think of love as a luxury, but in pursuing our dreams, it is a necessity. It's like fuel for the journey. For a scientist, love might be the sense of wonder at discovery. For an artist, it might be love of beauty itself. Love connects your personal dreams to something bigger. Love of family, community, or humanity. Eastern traditions say compassion and service are paths to fulfillment. If your dreams involve helping others, let that love be a North Star. Writing code, solving math, or cooking a meal if there is love behind it, it transforms work into vocation. Love is what turns a job into a calling. Scientifically, love and connection release oxytocin and endorphins, strengthening our resilience and happiness. When you share your dreams with loved ones, their support and faith give you strength. When you pour love into your craft, you find joy in the process, not just the outcome. Even if a setback comes, love remembers why you started and keeps you going. Self-love is especially important. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would give a friend. When you make mistakes, forgive yourself. When you feel afraid, talk to yourself with encouragement. The love you have for yourself sets the standard for what you accept from life. If you love the person you are becoming through this journey, no regret can tarnish that growth. Call it heart or passion, love is what makes the impossible seem worth it. If not for you, do it for something greater. Your love could be the force that turns personal effort into universal good. So dream with love, embrace curiosity and purpose, but ground them in compassion. Let love lead your path. It will give you the courage to follow your dreams without regret. Finally, it all comes back to self. Who are you when the applause dies down? Who do you see in the mirror when the daily drama fades? At the end of the day, the journey of following your dreams leads you to discover your truest self. Eastern teachings emphasize knowing thyself. The Upanishads and Zen say that the divine or the ultimate reality lies within. Find your inner light and your outer journey becomes clear. When you look inward with honesty, you find what truly matters to you, separate from expectations and doubts. Your self-worth should not come solely from achievements or failures, but from the integrity of your efforts. If you have put in the work, lived with purpose, acted with love and resilience, then you have honored the gift of who you are. At that point, regret loses its power. You have become who you were meant to be. Your truest self is your companion. Make sure you like your own company by staying true. Carl Jung wrote about the shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves. Often our fears and doubts live in that shadow. As you chase your dreams, you shine a light into those dark corners. The more you know your true self, the less shadows remain to scare you. This is why silence and solitude can be your greatest allies. In quiet moments, you catch glimpses of the real you. Meditation, journaling, or even a long walk can strip away distractions, showing you what you most desire. When Alexander the Great was told by his father to be like me, he looked at the sky and said, "I will be like Zeus himself." He found his identity in the stars, not in the people around him. Self-awareness also breeds freedom. When you define yourself, you stop being who others expect you to be. Instead, you align with what truly resonates. This is liberation. Ask yourself, if I had no fear and all the confidence in the world, what would I do? It is in the act of striving for your dream that you become more yourself. Each challenge reveals a strength you didn't know you had. Each small success confirms a value of yours. Self-knowledge grows as you act on purpose. By the end of this journey, it might not even be about the dream itself, but about the person you become in the process of chasing it. The only approval you truly need is your own. Chasing your dreams means listening to the voice that says, "Go ahead, you can do this." If you honor that voice, regret can't find a foothold. When the sunset comes on your life's final day, looking back with no regrets means knowing you lived true to yourself, and that knowledge is the ultimate victory. Stay true to your reflection. When the crowd's applause fades and the dust settles, it is only you who will know whether you kept faith in the person you were born to be. This is the moment of decision. If not now, when? If not you, then who? The universe has given you these gifts: time, choice, and hope. Use them before they fade. The cost of not following your dreams is a life haunted by regret, and that price is far too high. Go forth, guided by the lessons of the past and the hopes of the future. Dream boldly, live fully, and act today on the things that set your heart aflame. Let no what if echo in your mind when you grow old. Let the answer to every question you face be, "I at least dared to try." Remember, you are the author of your life story. Don't let a chapter be written by fear. Every great story has obstacles, but also heroes who choose to fight on. Make yourself that hero. Picture yourself years from now, looking back. Will you see a page filled with achievements and learning, or a blank page that says, "I wish I had"? That question is already writing itself in your heart. Answer it with courage. The time to begin is now. The power is in you. Go and live your one life with intention, with passion, and without regret. Believe in this truth with every fiber of your being. A life without regret is worth any sacrifice. Live, love, learn, and let your dreams become the legacy you leave behind. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing is not what you have, but who you have become. The last pages of your story should read, you lived true to yourself, you embraced your dreams, and you left this world with no regrets. If this message resonated with you, inspired you, or lit even the smallest spark within, then let it fade. Support the journey by subscribing to this channel. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful cinematic content that uplifts and empowers a new generation to chase their dreams. Join the movement, be part of the story, and let's rise together. Subscribe now and share this with someone who needs to hear it.